look at that. Apparently we're going out. Hey everyone. We're coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. Coming up in a couple of minutes' time. Going to be an interesting show today, I tell you what. If you're watching an archive version, you might want to fast forward just 2 or 3 minutes. Apologise for waiting 2 or 3 minutes before telling you that, by the way.
We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling.
Right. Patching into Revolution Radio. God bless them. Hold on. Where is it? There you go. Is that it?
Your talking points before the talking
there we
points
go.
even get
That's
aired.
Rev Radio. We're going out on wakeupuk.net. We're going out on Rumble.
And you get one of the most
we're going out
listened to
on
Saturday night.
not for long actually, just for a few minutes on YouTube. Oh blimey, what a censorious
At
thing.
freedomslips.com. So
Do.
join me, the best, for Inside the Eye Live every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. It is truly intelligent media for the politically aware.
Right, that's enough of that.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights,
Hey Thomas.
Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m.
Coming up in about, 30 seconds, something like that. Yeah.
Radio, freedomslips.com.
Bill Etheridge today. Yeah.
Many years from now.
Hold on, that might be copyright. I might have to put that down, fade that down. I don't know. So Braveheart, yeah. How many times have you seen that movie, Braveheart? I think I must have seen it almost as many times as I've seen Gladiator. Yeah. Hey, Craig, Jay, can you hear me? Quick test. No, too late.
Yes, I'm here.
Good. God bless you. Right. Okay, silence, guys. Going on the radio. On mute.
Death is inevitable. I know this. But one thing is certain. As free men, it is our right to live unencumbered and in peace. And those times are quickly drawing to an end. And in these times, peace is certainly an illusion. And as the chains grow tighter, our ability to slip those chains increase incrementally with every passing moment. Inaction is no longer an option. It's time to raise our voices like a cacophony of thunder and lightning and tell the masters no more.
Damn right.
For myself, no more. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, because the freedom is slipping away.
God bless you, man.
All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
Oh, hold on. There you go. Oh, no, not that, for goodness sake. Oh, yeah, blimey, completely cocked that up. Guess what? Yeah. Hey, folks. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good people. And welcome to the Daily Chaos. The show ain't daily, but the chaos is. Auto ab radicao, know what I mean? And today, political silence. UKIP's Bill Etheridge defends against charges of UKIP being controlled opposition. Why is the mainstream political establishment, including the so-called conservative parties like UKIP and the Reform Party, stony silent about the Great Reset? Ditto, the so-called conservative media. Last week on Chaos, I was working through the night, which is why I'm flying by the seat of my pants today. Last week on Chaos, Heritage Party leader David Kurten gave his verdict, branding UKIP as controlled globalist puppets. I'll link to that show so you can get his words, not mine, on what he actually said. Now, just days before UKIP's party conference, UKIP's education spokesperson, former MEP Bill Etheridge, talks in a personal capacity about the roaring silence from UKIP and from the wider political class regarding the story of our time, the Great Reset. Or, in his words, this terrifying, worldwide, authoritarian takeover. Guess what? I ran out of theme tune. Okay, roll call. Who have we got? Who have we got in the room? We got Jay Carey.
Yeah, hi Ollie.
Hey Jay. Hello mate. How you doing?
I'm good. You?
Yeah. Good. Bit underslept, but that's fine. Craig Workman. Can you hear us? Craig.
Yes. You're still mute first.
Yeah, he's got to unmute. That's all right. You can unmute. We've got Dave Fergy.
Yes, I'm well.
As well. Hey, Craig, God bless you, man. Our stringer from Victoria, Australia, with another update on the competition in the global tyranny stakes between Australia and Canada. Which Australia is definitely winning at the moment, but we'll be getting your update. God bless you, Craig. Thank you. Registered nurse. Lost his job because he refused to, we're going out on YouTube at the moment. I'd actually quite like this entire show to go on YouTube, just for a change, without them banning it. I don't know if that's possible, yeah. But if we talk about, the quacks, then they'll probably ban it again, pull it, all that. So YouTube people, get over to Rumble, because I can't be arsed with these censorious, evil bastards, quite frankly. And that's what they are at YouTube. Just like at Facebook. You know what? Yeah. Can't have a debate. Herded into a sheep pen or whatever. Dave Fergy, can you hear me, sir? Dave Fergy, you need to unmute.
Yes, hello.
Your mic. Dave, lovely to have you back on the show, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah, fit and well. Still alive. Still fighting the good fight.
Good. Oh, that's great. Oh, look at that. You've got video. Hold on. Let me sort out your video. I'll sort that out in a minute. Look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this interview that I conducted yesterday evening with Bill Etheridge from UKIP, which is absolutely fascinating to more than as much as anything, because he comes on in a personal capacity just days before UKIP's party conference. Dave Fergy, what do you think about that?
I think it says it all. I think that the problem with Bill is he wants to belong to something, and every time he tries to belong to something, it collapses around him. I mean, it happened with the Brexit Party, isn't it? And
well, look, we're going to analyse this. Let's see what people got to say. And there was a fascinating chat with David Kurten last week.
That was brilliant. Listen to that. That was fantastic.
God bless you, man. Well, I'm pleased that you did, because I want to compare these two interviews and the stances of these two individual people. Never mind their politics. These are two people, because that's what it comes down to. And also from a party political point of view, yeah. And I'm really hoping, if you are somehow affiliated with UKIP, that you will make damn sure that everybody sees both of these interviews, both of them. Because you need a kick up the arse in UKIP. Your NEC does, your party leader does, your party chairman does. They absolutely do. The fact that they're not discussing the Great Reset is disgusting. Am I being unfair, Dave?
Not at all. But they've been warned off, haven't they?
Oh, well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after this interview. But I got to say, full marks to Bill Etheridge for coming on the show. I'm really, really grateful. And indeed to David Kurten last week. If we can create some debate. Right, let's play this thing. Get on with it. Thank you very, very much indeed. I will sort your video out whilst this interview is on the go, Dave. And yeah.
Can you get my best side, please?
We can we can have a proper chat off the back of this. But yeah, blimey. I'll tell you what, I did have a problem setting up the show today. Just for a change, there was a little bit of chaos going on. Right, never mind all that. This is it. Let's get on with it. Enough faffing about. Good. Thank you. Ciao. We're living in unprecedented times, ones of grave personal, national and international danger, where our lives are threatened, our livelihoods destroyed, and our politics usurped by what my guest today describes as a terrifying worldwide authoritarian takeover. Hailed by leaders across the world, yet with no electoral mandate, this is the UN-backed Build Back Better slogan-wielding Great Reset. Mostly ignored by the mainstream media, the once great free states of Canada and Australia, for example, are reduced to tyranny. There is an almost biblical fight for liberty in nations across the world, yet still so many are unaware, apathetic, or bewildered, rendered hopeless by events. Following on from my interview last week with the erudite leader of Britain's Heritage Party, David Kurten, today to discuss a globalist cover-up is UKIP's spokesperson for defence, former MEP Bill Etheridge, kindly coming back onto Daily Chaos yet again, but this time in the most extraordinary circumstances. For just days before UKIP's party conference, he has asked not to speak on behalf of the party, but instead in a personal capacity, because he says he does not know what UKIP's position is. Before I ask you, Bill, about not only UKIP's apparent indifference to sweeping totalitarianism, but that of the political establishment as a whole, and for the benefit of those whose news media consumption remains limited to listening to hacks, not journalists, what is the Great Reset, please? How is it authoritarian, and why is it terrifying?
Okay, well, thank you for this opportunity. Just to amend a couple of things at the start, I'm now the economy spokesman rather than defence. That was a previous incarnation. But yeah, the party itself of UKIP is settling its policies at the conference. Hence why I want to speak in a personal context. The Great Reset. Every time you hear Build Back Better, every time you see these crackdowns, these changes going on, the Great Reset, beginning back with the World Economic Forum and Mr. Klaus Schwab, it's all about changing everything about the way we live our lives, do business, the way our economies work, control over us in every respect. We proles are to be the slaves of the elite. And yeah, you know, someone had said that 18 months ago to me, 2 years ago. I don't know, where's your tinfoil hat gone, mate? You know, it's nonsense. But everything that has happened over the last 2 years is entirely what has been predicted by the so-called conspiracy theorists. And it's time when people actually now started to wake up and realise that actually we are heading towards, if not already partially in, a state of existence where we have no freedom whatsoever. The thin veneer, the disguise of democracy, of freedom, is being wiped away by the day. And people are accepting it. And they're accepting through fear of a virus with a 99.9% plus survival rate. So when we're going to see the digitalization of money, we're going to see ID cards and control. Every part of what we do is going to be controlled and monitored. And as the great Mr. Schwab says himself, eventually you will own nothing and be happy. That's not what I'm prepared to stand for.
That last bullet point is really the crux, isn't it? Are we not looking at global communism, essentially brought in by fascists?
Well, we are, and we're a situation. It's Animal Farm, isn't it? Because we're all going to be equal, but some are going to be more equal than others. So whilst we're not going to be allowed to have our free will to do as we wish, to travel, to do all sorts of things, the handful at the top, the elite, as has been seen over the last 18 months, the very, very rich are getting exponentially richer at the same time that the normal, ordinary working people around the world are getting poorer and having everything taken from us. And yeah, it's perfect. It's the effect of communism, but with the fascist mentality of control and big business working with government. It's a perfect melting pot of all the evils of politics rolled into one.
One of the facets of this Great Reset that concerns me the most is this social credit scoring, very CCP-esque. Can you tell me something about that?
Yeah, well, the way it works with our friends in China is that you're constantly, if you've been a good boy or good girl, you get points on the system. And if you've been naughty, you've said something wrong or behaved in a way that's not approved of, you lose points. And of course, if you're reliant on the state for everything, then the state can withhold privileges, withhold certain freedoms. We already hear the likes of Trudeau talking about, well, we're going to withhold your freedoms until you do what we say as regard having a jab. It's happening now. The social credit scoring is happening right now. And when you get an identity card that's going to be digitized eventually, and anyone who doubts that, really, come on. Well, everything's going to be stored on there. Everything you've done, everything you've said. Well, I don't think I'm going to get many pennies out of the state from the things I say, but this is the way it's all heading. And what really is sending me to a rage is that people are just meekly rolling over and accepting it. It's beyond belief.
Do you think people know about it?
I think that a growing number of people know about it, but certainly I would say it's a minority. But even the majority who do live in blissful ignorance of what's going on, surely you can smell a turd. Let's be realistic. Everyone's life has been changed in ways we never dreamt possible over the last 18 months or 2 years. And you really think it's still about a virus? Are you that naive and that trusting to really think that this is all about a virus when everything that's going on and so little of it has got anything to do with a virus?
And yet conditioning is extremely powerful. People do not appreciate the power of conditioning, no?
Oh, yeah, well, a large amount of neuro-linguistic programming goes on through our TVs and through the media commentaries, which, to encapsulate it, means words with certain symbolism and certain meanings, which will embed themselves into your subconscious and make you accept certain things and behave in a certain way. And if you think that that's an outrageous comment, well, how the hell do you think marketing works? This has been going on for many years in perhaps not quite such a malevolent fashion, but you only have to look everywhere you go. Slogans, the same words repeated over and over again. It's quite clear that we're being conditioned, but I just wish, my faith in human nature makes me want to believe that people can actually understand what's happening to them and fight back.
What would you say to those people who say, actually, you know what? We need a great reset. The society in which we're living is not sustainable. We need to change it. Maybe these guys are going to change it for us. And so, you know what? I'm behind it.
I've heard that argument made. And my response to that is, well, look, if you think that society needs to be changed and you believe that, green issues and various other matters need to be addressed urgently, well, I tell you what, let's have a discussion, a debate and an election and let people vote on it. You don't change everything. Well, they are doing it, but you shouldn't change everything without any consensus, any discussion. We should be adults We're being treated like children. And, frankly, the fact that there's been no debate or discussion makes me think that they couldn't win the debate. Because who votes to be poorer? Who votes to be controlled? Who votes to be the underling to an upper class? I certainly wouldn't.
We are moving into, I think, what could be described as a surveillance society, a sort of a snitch society where, for example, in China now, I interviewed a whistleblower a few weeks ago who was telling me how he couldn't move outside of his own region or even his town because one of the neighbors had snitched on his wife. They didn't like his wife. And then her social credit score went down or what have you. They cannot even get out of the town in which they are now. Are we in danger of entering into that kind of a model of control?
We're already there, aren't we? But when we had the earlier lockdown periods where there were people still allowing others to come into their houses against the rules, there were pleas from the government to the police to report your neighbour. One step off, report your parents to the Gestapo. Really, this is where we already are. And okay, I could see how people would fall for it initially when they thought some kind of bubonic plague was sweeping the world. But now we know the reality that it isn't anything like that. To still be accepting it shows a certain docile obedience, which I find quite pathetic.
I'm going to come on to the so-called pandemic in a moment, but last question specifically regarding the Great Reset. Who is behind it?
Well, in my opinion, it is people so wealthy and so rich that you never get to see them. I can't point at the specific finger as any one person because having been at the level of an MEP and you talk to people and say, oh, you must have known you must know a few things about what was going on. I can tell you our elected representatives more often know bugger all about what's going on. They can't put their finger on it. It's like trying to hit fog with a machete. You can't get to the bottom of it. So the people in charge of global corporations and the overlords, the people who own the world, and let's be honest, we know that there are a handful of people who own the vast majority of the wealth. These are the guys running things with their useful idiots who they put as mouthpieces.
We know that Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum, has written a book, or several actually, about the Great Reset and elements of it, what have you. You mentioned the political leaders that we have and suggest that they're puppets. Do you think that Boris Johnson is a puppet, that he has control?
Yeah.
And ditto the question for Biden, for example?
Well, I mean, Biden's clearly a puppet. I mean, the guy can't even tie his own shoelaces. I mean, let's be honest. If anyone believes that Joe Biden is running the free world, well, I don't wish to be overly cruel to someone who's clearly mentally unwell and going through the early stages of dementia, if not the middle stages. And you look at Boris Johnson, the number of times he'll come out and say something, and then the next day say something different. Now, you could say that's just because he's a liar, and yes, of course, he is a liar. But it could also be because he's getting contrasting orders, telling him what different things to do. I simply don't believe that the elected government in this country is running things. I don't believe they'd be capable of doing it even if they had the power, but they aren't. They're mouthpieces. They must be. Are they really conservatives? These people who've done the biggest tax burden in our lifetimes, are they conservatives? I don't think so. They're being led, controlled.
One of the things that Boris told us about 18 months ago or so was that we had 14 days to save the NHS. Then apparently... Right, hold on, just a sec. I'm going to have to cut the stream to YouTube because they're not going to like this. It's against their terms and regulations or whatever nonsense. A lot of old cock. Can't talk about what's going on in this world with regards to the health aspects. I think I'm allowed to say that without getting kicked off YouTube according to their T's and C's, but that is about it. So if you want to watch the rest of this interview, you can, and you'll have to work out where it is, yeah? There's a clue up there where you can find out. I can't really say any more than that without, I don't know, contravening. Don't be evil. Wasn't that what Google said? Something like that? Yeah, so I'm going to cut YouTube. And I'm really sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. Susan, Charlie, and other folks there having a look, I do apologise. I'm going to end the stream on YouTube now, and it will be elsewhere. And hey, I apologise. I apologise. We're not allowed to talk about certain things going on in our world unless we follow the official narrative. Ciao, YouTube. See you at the other place. God bless you. Right, now for the rest of you,